everybody, and welcome to the Chrissy B show. And tonight's program is all about how to sell yourself. Now, many people have so many good qualities and skills but can't get ahead in life because they don't know how to sell themselves and show people what they're really made of. And this can lead to them feeling frustrated and even to lose their confidence. So the aim of tonight's show is to help you bring out your very best. My guest tonight, Alexia Leachman, who's a personal branding expert, and she'll be speaking about how to find your mojo. And we also have our resident guest, Justin Bassini, who'll be talking about marketing yourself at work, and Chris Brown with the Self-Development Clinic later on in the show. So if you want to get involved, you can of course email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv, or you can tweet Chrissy B Show as well. So let's first of all talk to our first guest, and that's Alexia. Hi.
Hi Chrissy, how are
you?
I'm fab, thank you.
So lovely to see you here.
Yeah.
Now you've got a big smile on your face because you are quite a happy, confident person.
Yes.
What do you actually do?
I help people to find their mojo, so that's why I kind of give myself the name Mojo Hunter, but other people might describe that as maybe being a personal brand coach to help people to find what their personal brand is.
What is mojo?
Mojo, well, I think it's one of those things that's a little bit elusive. You know when you haven't got it, but if you had to try and find it, you wouldn't really know what you're looking for. But when you're on fire, when you feel like you're happy, you've got direction in life, you've got momentum, you feel like you're doing something that really makes you enjoy life, then you've got your mojo, So I help people to find that in themselves and to really start enjoying life again.
Now you're actually talking from experience, aren't you? Because you're not just here sort of talking theory, because you actually went through something quite bad in your life, didn't you? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I lost my mum quite quickly and quite tragically about 6 or 7 years ago, and the result of that was me just totally losing sight of who I was and disconnecting from what I was about and what I wanted. And so I went from being somebody that on the outside looked very successful, doing a good job, to really
Were you happy at that point, would you say?
I was before she died, but when she did, I totally spun out of control and must have sort of slipped into depression and all that kind of stuff. And it was really hard. And for me, I guess back then, I look back and think, yeah, I lost my mojo big style. So I had to find it again. So that journey, what did I do to try and find it? I tried everything, and what I do now is I sort of bring everything I learned together and help people to find it quicker than I did by allowing them to tap into my experience and not make the same mistakes I did.
Now, what kind of thoughts used to go through your mind when you were going through that period?
I don't know. And that was it. You'd ask me anything and I didn't know. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what would make me happy. I didn't know what to do that day. I just didn't know. And sometimes I would just curl up and I didn't want to leave the house. And
how long were you in that
probably
situation?
around, I'd say about 2 years. 2 years.
That's a long time to be going through that.
But in that time there were some highs and lows, and I was really trying to sort myself out. I wasn't sitting around wallowing in it. I was really like, this has got to change, So I was sort of trying this, trying that, and some stuff worked and some stuff doesn't. And what I help with my clients now is helping pass on the things that really, really work for me.
So during that period when you were going through this, did you feel at any point like giving up, or did you feel like, maybe things aren't going to change? Did you ever go through those kind of moments?
No, because I knew that I was going to sort this out. I just knew it. And a crunch time for me came when I had I was told to just go travelling for a couple of weeks, and I love travelling.
On your own? Did you go by yourself?
Well, I didn't go. Because
you didn't?
I didn't, and that's when I realised I needed to sort this out, because I couldn't face the idea of being with myself. And I was like, you know what, this has got to stop. So that's when I really went for it and just sorted it out.
Okay, so tell us about what you do on a day-to-day basis.
So what I do on a day-to-day basis, I help people to find out what it is about themselves that they can sell, what they can to get more of what they want. So for some people it might be earning more money, for some people it might be to sell their book, for some people it might be just to get that promotion at work. For everybody there's going to be a different sort of goal or ambition that is going to represent success for them in life. So whatever that might be for them, I help them to influence others so that they get more of what they want.
Can you tell us a bit about a few tips, or how you actually go about doing that?
Well, the first thing I do is I help people to figure out who they are, because if you're trying to sell yourself, because let's be clear, we're always selling ourselves. Whether or not you're trying to persuade somebody around to your way of thinking, if you're trying to persuade all your mates to go to the cinema with you, you're selling an idea to them as to whether or not they're going to come on board with you. So if you have to sell something, you have to know what you're selling. So the first thing you have to do is know who you are. So the first thing I do with people is I help them to discover who they are, what their strengths are, what their values are, what makes them awesome. Why should somebody choose you over somebody else? If you can't answer that question, then you're not going to do a very good job of selling yourself.
I think a lot of people, whether they've even if they haven't been through like a traumatic experience or something that bad happened to them, people don't generally have that confidence to actually say sell themselves. And I don't know if it's just something, a British thing, that maybe people don't like, in a sense, I think it's like boasting about themselves. They don't really like to, talk about their strengths, what they're good at. But I think they have a lot of skills and a lot of things to offer, but they just either don't know what it is, or they just don't like expressing it for some reason.
I think the lack of awareness is a huge thing, but also a lot of people have got a real problem with selling themselves, putting themselves out there, and a lot of the work I do as well with people is helping them to get over what I call head trash, which is that stuff that is preventing them from taking
trash.
Head trash. Yeah, that's what I kind of like. I land grabbed that term, so I came across that. I thought, hey, that really represents what I think it is. All that stuff in your head that really prevents
what kind of stuff,
you.
like?
Things like, thoughts that you have that are stopping you from going ahead and doing something. Those beliefs that are holding you back. So, I could never do that, or I'm going to fail. That kind of stuff, which is just so damaging and toxic. Let's get rid of that stuff, so that you can put yourself forward for that job promotion, or you are going to set up your business because you do believe you're going to succeed. All those kind of thoughts can really, really hold you back. So I help, that's a huge part of the work I do with people, and a lot of it when it comes to selling yourself is around confidence, having self-belief, because if you don't believe in who you are and what you're capable of, then no one else will believe that either. And the belief has got to start with yourself, right?
And I don't think as well people are born with confidence. Sometimes it's a skill that you develop over time sometimes, and I know that the people that go through such terrible things and they do think they've lost their confidence completely, but there is something there still, because a lot of them manage to drag themselves back, don't they?
And some people have confidence in certain situations and not in others. So it's about trying to sort of pull that across into the situation where they don't have it, so they can tap into that confidence that they have got in certain scenarios. So, but that's in a really, once you sort of flick the confidence switch in somebody and they just go, that's
there's no stopping them.
No, I love it. I love that part of my work. I love,
So say a person now is in a position that they know who they are, they know what they can sell about themselves. How would they, for example, sell themselves online?
Well, online, I think there's some really easy things that you can do online. Make sure that you've got a presence for a start, because a lot of people don't really engage a lot online. So, get yourself a profile on some of those high traffic sites like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever is relevant for you, and make sure that when you do have that profile, that you're filling it out, you're putting a decent photograph of yourself, not a photo of you on holiday or in your bikini or drunk at the office party, a photo where you look really, really good, professionally taken, and that you're putting all the information there that they're asking for. And so that's just a no-win really, in terms of, making sure that you do that. And other things that you can do online is sort of really take part in the conversation, comment on people's blogs. Have a blog of your own, sort of start putting content.
Is the commenting that important on other people's blogs, do you think?
It can be. Some people who don't have the confidence, or the maybe they don't feel they can write, or they haven't got the commitment to maintain a blog, it's much easier for them to maybe comment on other people's blogs and have a reputation for always, giving valued opinions on a certain subject.
Because I read a lot of blogs, but I don't normally comment, because it's like all that time thing. Got time to read it, but not really much time to comment. So.
But the thing is, if you just observe online, then you might as well not be there, because no one else knows that you're looking. If somebody was sitting here with us and they just weren't saying anything, we'd know that they were there because we could see them. But
that's online, a really good point, actually.
In line, you can't. So if you don't actually put something out there, you might as well not be there, and so your effort is kind of going to waste. So you need to make sure you take part and get involved in the conversation on Twitter, chat to people. I get some people saying, I see you're doing this and that and this and that on Twitter. I was like, really, you know that, but you're not sort of making that known to me, so it feels a little bit creepy.
You're just following me. So what other things would you say, like, for example, on Facebook and Twitter, that you can do, like, to market yourself, apart from, say, maybe links to your blog and stuff like that? Are people, like, interested, for example, in sort of your day-to-day things that you're doing, like personal things that you're doing, or do you think that should be something that you don't write about?
I think there's no real correct answer to this, but my view is I always think you should really give away a part of who you are, because people connect to the human part of you. You can tell them about your fancy job title and the fact that you're going to present to this big fancy client and all that, that sort of good stuff, which is a bit boring, really. Who cares? You kind of land this big client. Actually, what we want to know is, what's your favourite wine? That's how we might strike up a conversation, or the fact that we both share a passion for snowboarding, whatever it is. And it's on that basis that people might choose to work with you rather than somebody else, because qualifications are sort of, everybody has those, right?
Yeah.
And so that's not really the way that you can maybe stand out anymore. The way that you can stand out is by being you, and there's only one of you.
Yeah.
So if you can really bring you into what you do and make that part of the conversation, then that's why people will choose you.
People identify with you immediately.
Absolutely. So it's about trying to figure out how can you be present online by making sure that you are being you and authentic and real, because people respond to somebody who's got authenticity because they feel like they can trust them, and trust is such an important element of doing business today. Of, you know, we buy into brands because we trust them, because we know what they can be relied upon for, and the same goes for individuals. People will do business with you, people will hire you, people will get involved with you, engage with you if they trust you. So you need to be able to build that trust and make sure.
I mean, I do get bored with sort of tweets from companies that say, "Oh, we've just started our new seminar," and it's just that and nothing else. But when it's true, when someone does post personal things, it's nice. It's nice to read as well, and you identify with them.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your personal branding toolkit. I think we've got a minute left before the break.
Personal branding toolkit. So yeah, photos. Have a good set of photographs in your toolkit that you can use on all those profiles that you're going to have online. Have a really good bio as a starting point. So the bio is going to be like a personal summary that you can include on certain websites. But if you get an opportunity to talk somewhere, or you're going to, you know, maybe you're going to have a book coming out, then you're going to need a really good bio. And so having a bio written up that you can tweak at the last minute if you need to is really useful. You don't want to start writing it. It's like a CV. It takes a long time to write a good CV. You don't want to start writing it the day before you've got to get the job applied for. And having all those online profiles again takes time. So have a look at the ones you think are relevant for you.
Great. Okay, so Alexia, you're going to join us again later on, because after the break we've also got Justin Bassinia, resident marketing expert, who's going to be imparting his wisdom on us as well. So join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.